Welcome to Hollywood Information. In this video, we are going to dive deep into the dark and shocking side of early show business. The worst and cruelest parents of old Hollywood. Behind the glittering lights, red carpets, and smiling child stars were stories of control, greed, and heartbreak. Stories that many fans never knew about. 1. Judy Garland. Few child stars have had a more tragic upbringing than Judy Garland, and much of her pain came from her own mother, Ethel Gum. Ethel was known as a classic stage mother from hell. From the moment Judy could walk, her mother pushed her into show business. She made Judy perform in vaudeville acts at just 2 years old. When Judy complained of exhaustion, Ethel reportedly gave her pills, first to keep her awake and later to make her sleep. Studio executives called Ethel the real villain behind Judy's emotional struggles. Even when Judy became a star with The Wizard of Oz, her mother was still taking a cut of her earnings and manipulating her career. Judy herself once said, "My mother only cared about money." She was the real Wicked Witch of the West. 2. Natalie Wood. Natalie Wood's mother, Maria Zakharenko, was another parent whose obsession with fame overshadowed her child's happiness. Maria was convinced that Natalie was destined for stardom and would go to extreme lengths to make it happen. According to reports, Maria would make young Natalie cry on cue by telling her that their dog had been killed, just so she'd deliver the perfect emotional performance in front of the camera. Maria controlled every aspect of Natalie's life, her roles, her relationships, even her friendships. When Natalie wanted to quit acting, Maria threatened her with guilt and manipulation, reminding her that the entire family depended on her income. Behind Natalie's glamorous image was a woman terrified of disobeying her mother. 3. Gypsy Rose Lee. If you've ever seen the musical Gypsy, you'll recognize the infamous Mama Rose, based on the real-life stage mother Rose Thompson Havoc. She was the mother of Gypsy Rose Lee and June Havoc, and she became a symbol of parental greed and ambition gone mad. Rose forced her daughters to perform in vaudeville shows for money, often pushing them to exhaustion. When her younger daughter June ran away to escape her control, Rose turned all her attention to Gypsy, eventually pushing her into burlesque dancing. Because it paid more, Rose's behavior grew increasingly erratic and violent over time, and she was even rumored to have shot and killed one of her lovers. Her daughters spent their lives haunted by her cruelty and manipulation. 4. Shirley Temple. Shirley Temple was the face of Hollywood's innocence, the curly-haired, smiling child who brought joy to millions during the Great Depression. But behind the camera, her home life was far less cheerful. Her father, George Temple, managed her finances but failed to protect them. By the time Shirley became an adult, she discovered that almost all of her $3 million in earnings had vanished. Her parents had mismanaged her fortune and spent most of it on luxuries and bad investments. Shirley later said that she had to rebuild her entire life from scratch, a devastating betrayal for one of Hollywood's most beloved child stars. 5. Mickey Rooney. Mickey Rooney, one of MGM's biggest stars of the 1930s and 1940s, was raised in a show business family where his mother, Nellie Rooney, ruled with an iron fist. She controlled his every move, dictating his career and personal choices. When Mickey wanted to take breaks or hang out with friends, Nellie would scold him, reminding him that the show must go on. Even as an adult, she meddled in his finances and personal life. Mickey once admitted, "My mother was my manager, my boss, and my jailer." The emotional scars from that control haunted him long after his career peaked. 6. Judy Lewis. Actress Loretta Young was admired for her beauty and grace, but behind closed doors, she concealed one of Hollywood's cruelest lies. Her daughter, Judy Lewis, was actually the secret child of Loretta and Clark Gable. Conceived during an affair while both were under contract to hide the scandal, Loretta sent Judy away for a year and then pretended to adopt her. Judy grew up unaware that Loretta was her real mother, and when she finally learned the truth, her entire identity collapsed. Loretta's devotion to her image in a judgmental Hollywood world cost her daughter years of emotional pain. 7. Frances Farmer. The brilliant and rebellious actress of the 1930s endured not only Hollywood's cruelty but also her own mother's. When Frances was institutionalized due to mental health struggles, Lillian Farmer signed papers committing her daughter to psychiatric hospitals where she suffered horrific abuse, including forced shock treatments. Even after Frances was released, her mother continued to control her life, moving her back home and treating her like a prisoner. The relationship was toxic to the end, a haunting symbol of parental betrayal under the guise of protection. 8. Brooke Shields. Although Brooke Shields' career began in the late 1960s, her story echoes old Hollywood patterns of exploitation. Her mother, Terry Shields, was both her manager and constant companion. She allowed Brooke to appear in highly controversial roles and photo shoots as a child, sparking massive ethical debates. While Brooke became a successful actress, her mother's decisions left lasting scars, blurring the line between motherhood and management in the harshest way possible. That Terry's overbearing control and drinking problem only deepened their rift over time. 9. Jean Harlow. The platinum blonde bombshell of the 1930s, was managed and manipulated by her controlling mother, Jean Bello, who insisted on being called Mother Jean. Mother Jean was obsessed with her daughter's fame, dictating every decision in her life, from contracts to personal relationships. When Jean Harlow became ill while filming Saratoga, her mother refused medical treatment, believing that prayer alone could save her. Jean died at just 26 years old, and many believe her mother's stubborn control contributed to her death, a tragic symbol of blind devotion turned fatal. 10. Lana Turner. One of Hollywood's most glamorous icons, was raised by her mother, Mildred Cowan, after her father's murder. Mildred was determined to make her daughter famous, often using her beauty and youth to attract attention in public places, hoping that someone from Hollywood would discover her. When that finally happened, Mildred seized control of Lana's career, managing her with strict discipline and emotional manipulation. That Lana's relationships and personal decisions were constantly judged, and she spent much of her life struggling to separate herself from her mother's shadow. That if you found this video informative, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Hollywood Information for more deep dives into the real stories behind the stars. Thank you for watching. And as always, stay curious, stay informed, and see you in the next video.